You read the title. I'll say it again. The most impactful player on every single NBA team for the Eastern Conference. Let's get straight into it. Starting off, we have the Atlanta Hawks, and in my opinion, this is a pretty easy choice, and I have to go with Trae Young. We have players like Bogdan Bogdanovic, Clint Capella, Danilo Gallinari, and the new addition of Lou Williams. But Trae's offensive skill set is enough to make him the most impactful player on the Atlanta Hawks. Defensively, he's not a liability at all, and that goes for many other good talented players in the NBA, like Luka Doncic, and Steph Curry is honestly pretty underrated, but Luka is not a great defender neither, but offensively Luka's amazing. So Trae Young, look at that move right there. He did that on Andre Iguodala, one of the best defenders in the league. Yes, Andre Iguodala is now old, but just look at how he organized it. He did that Allen Iverson crossover, and he quickly shot the ball just in case Iguodala doesn't recover, because we all know how good of a defender Iguodala is. And he shot that three and obviously swished it in. Nowadays, he gets lots of hate for his style of play like James Harden played last year, but he's still averaging 9 assists per game, which is top 4 in the league after James Harden, Chris Paul, and that guy, Russell Westbrook. He's just averaging triple-double. So yeah, he's the most impactful player on the Atlanta Hawks. The next team is the Boston Celtics. And while this player might be known for doing such things like this, when Marcus Smart was injured this season, the Celtics were bad. And when he wasn't, the Celtics are still bad. But I'm telling you right now, trust me, he's really impactful. I don't know what's happened to the Celtics this season. Like, their own crowd is booing them. Take a look at this.
Meanwhile, Boston hearing it a bit from their fans. This is the second game of a 7-game homestand. As we mentioned, Monday night was the first time they had the fans back, 2,800. This is a team that has just been puzzling all season at 23-24.
That's Northeast fans, though, for you, Mike. They get back for the second game. Their team has a little bit of a bad stretch, and they are booing already. I love it. That's what you love about Northeast fans.
With a plus-minus of 1.7, that ranks him as 21st in the entire league among point guards. And that's really good because there's about 60 point guards in the NBA, one starting point guard for each team and then 1 or 2 point guard. So about 60 to 90 point guards in the NBA, and he's 21st. Obviously, there's players ahead of him like Steph Curry, Lonzo Ball, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons. But due to the lack of missing games, he's only 21st as of now, but definitely as the season goes on, his plus-minus will definitely improve. And at the end of the season, don't be surprised if he's up there. But obviously he's a great defender. He can score offensively. That's why. So he is the most impactful player for the Boston Celtics. Moving on to the Brooklyn Nets. So obviously the Brooklyn Nets' most impactful player is the one and only Blake Griffin. So
hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
it was obvious this one was going to be between Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, or James Harden, but I completely ruled out Kevin Durant due to the lack of games he's played. Now we only have Kyrie Irving and James Harden. When you look at the plus-minuses, Kyrie Irving is higher, but I don't see his impact being higher because all the players for a few games probably hated Kyrie Irving. Even Kevin Durant said, I don't know what that guy's doing, because of his weird absences from games. But when James Harden came to Brooklyn, everyone sort of liked him. He began to turn into a playmaker. He's averaging almost 12 assists per game. He's leading the league in assists. And assists really show your impact because he's scoring 25 points per game as well as 11 assists. So he's basically helping and scoring around 47 points a game. James Harden's the more impactful player, but Kyrie is also goated in my opinion. Now we have Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, and Gordon Hayward for the Charlotte Hornets. This was actually a pretty tough one, but I have to go with Terry Rozier on this. That's because LaMelo Ball is the rookie. No one really cares about the rookie. And we know for a fact that the Charlotte Hornets are not being the top 5 seed because of LaMelo. Plus, he's missed more games than the other two players due to obviously a unfortunate wrist injury. Now we have Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. I chose Terry Rozier over Gordon Hayward. First of all, he's averaging a bit more points. He's averaging 20.1 points. Gordon Hayward's averaging 19.1 points, so that's only a 1 point difference. But Gordon Hayward is not known to be clutch, and Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, is really clutch, hitting timely baskets and clutch shots and game winners against many good teams. That's why the Charlotte Hornets are top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference right now. And that's because of Terry Rozier being that clutch and hitting those very good shots. And those are usually very efficient shots as well. He's the most efficient player on the Charlotte Hornets after Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's only like 2% more efficient, but 2% doesn't really matter that much because it matters how many points you score. And he's really clutch, so that's why I put him over Gordon Hayward. And for the Chicago Bulls, this is as easy as it gets. I have to go with the first-time All-Star, Zach LaVine. I didn't have Nikola Vucevic here because he's only played 5 games for the Bulls as of now. And 5 games doesn't create a huge impact on the team winning games. Plus, they've lost 3 of those 5 games. Anyways, so with Zach LaVine, the Bulls were in playoff contention. Now they're out of playoff contention as of now. They're currently the 10th seed. And that's good enough for the play-in spot, but we don't know where they're going to land after the season ends. Maybe a top 8 seed, or they might even be out of the play-in spot, the way all Eastern Conference teams are playing right now. But focusing about Zach LaVine, first-time All-Star this season, like I said, definitely deserved to be one. He's averaging about 27 points a game with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. That's fantastic for a star player. He's not a superstar yet. I don't think he has any more potential because he's at his prime. I don't think he has any more potential to be a superstar player because from now on he's basically just going to decline after like 2 or 3 more years from his prime. In 3 years he'll be about 33 years old and 30 years old, not 33. He's currently 28 or 27 right now, I'm pretty sure, but definitely deserved to be an All-Star this season. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, we have Colin Sexton, and there really isn't much to say about this guy. I mean, he was a top draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Cavs have just been irrelevant since LeBron James left. And, I mean, I just want to make this really short because there's really nothing much to say. I guess here, just take a look at his stats. In 43 games played this season, he's averaging 24 points a game, which is all-star type production. 3 rebounds, that's very below average. 4.2 assists, not that eye-popping. 47.8% from the field goal, 35.9%, so about 36% from three-point line, which is all around decent for a point guard. And his free throw percentage, 81.6%. I mean, nothing much to say here. He's the Cleveland Cavaliers' most impactful player, even though the impact's not that big. With the Pistons, we have Jeremy Grant, and this was a no-brainer. One of the easiest choices in the video because Blake Griffin's washed. He's almost going to retire soon. Mason Plumlee's not anything special, nor is Josh Jackson. This guy's a candidate for most improved player, and when you're the best player on your team and considered the most improved player, you know your team is bad, like really bad. And the Detroit Pistons are one of the worst teams in the NBA. He is averaging around 24 points a game, which is really high from what he averaged last season. And I'm just happy he's doing well in Detroit, but he's the most impactful on their team. So for Indiana Pacers, I'm just going to compare 2 main players, Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon. These are Domantas Sabonis' stats. 20 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 52.6%, and 30% from the three-point line. His free throw percentage is 72%. Right? Now look at Malcolm Brogdon's stats. Malcolm Brogdon, 21.2 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 45.8% shooting overall, 40% from the three-point line, and 87.2% from the free throw line. Points-wise, he's only 1 point higher. In every else category, he has higher numbers, basically. Besides the three-point percentage, which Domantas Sabonis doesn't even attempt that many, so it doesn't really matter. And besides the points, Malcolm Brogdon is averaging only 1 more. This one's really tough in my opinion, but I'm going to go with Domantas Sabonis because he's played a few more games, to be exact, 3 more games, and I just see him affecting the team more with his rebounds. And for every rebound, there's more possessions the team can get to shoot the ball. And the assists are basically the same. The points is basically the same. It's just that the rebound that puts him, more eye-popping than Malcolm Brogdon for me. For the Miami Heat, I'm easily going with Jimmy Butler due to his presence offensively as well as defensively, getting the steal right there. And he's reading the offense every single second that he's been in the game. And offensively, he can read the game. He sees where all the players are. And it doesn't hurt that the fact he's averaging 24 points a game with 8 assists and 7 rebounds. That's basically near a triple-double. And honestly, I think he should be MVP because he's really valuable to the Miami Heat. And without him, they hadn't won a single game. But now they're winning lots of games. So, yeah. For the New York Knicks, Julius Randle is the most impactful this season. Also an MIP candidate, which is most improved player, like Jeremy Grant. He's averaging 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists on extremely good efficiency, which is 40% from the three-point line, which is extremely higher than his other seasons in his NBA career. And Knicks have been winning games this season, which is a big reason by Julius Randle. And he's a huge reason they've been winning games. And the coach, again, is really good. The fat guy, I can't remember his name. Tom Thibodeau, yeah, Tom Thibodeau. He's a really good coach, and his defensive presence helps the New York Knicks win so many games. But as a player, Julius Randle is the most impactful on this team. The process is by far the most impactful player on the Philadelphia 76ers. He's putting up a monstrous MVP season this year, averaging around 30 points a game with 12 rebounds, and his efficiency is extremely well. Ben Simmons could have been in this category from the beginning of the season, but he's underperforming this season, so this easily goes to Joel Embiid this season. Again, he's an MVP candidate. Why wouldn't he be the most impactful on his team? So, yeah. I just want to say please leave a like on this video because it took me 4 hours, spanning 4 days into this video, and I'm coming out with part 2, which is from the Western Conference, so just bear with me and please leave a like, and if you're new, then please subscribe. Moving on. After a slow start for the Raptors and Pascal Siakam's now coming back to his all-star self, still a little bit slow and not as good as he was in his all-star season, but still he's coming back to his normal self, and he's averaging 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and he's leading the team in the points category and rebounds category. Raptors haven't won a lot of games, but shout out to Norman Powell as well this season for being there for the Raptors and performing really well. But if he hadn't gotten traded as of now, I would probably have Norman Powell on the team, but Pascal Siakam's also deserving for this category. And to top it off, we have the Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal. It was a close one between him and Westbrook, but due to his amazing scoring this season, I have to go with Bradley Beal. Russell Westbrook's still averaging 22 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, but he's not efficient. And due to the greatest efficiency on the team by Bradley Beal, I have to go with Bradley Beal. Even though the Wizards are playing horrible, I don't see one impact being over another, but just to choose one, I would still go with Bradley Beal for his impact on the scoring side. Well, that's it for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for my next video, which is going to be from the Western Conference. If you really enjoyed this, I think this was a banger and one of my best videos yet. Please leave a like, and until next time, peace out.